This man is one of the most inspiring and impressive crypto traders who's documented his entire journey from $2,500 to millions of dollars on Twitter for us. His name is Cryptogodjohn, and he says he started in the market in 2017 where he was basically homeless and broke. He only had $2,500 to his name, and he lost both of his parents. Unfortunately, that's really sad. He says, I bought the top in 2017 and basically didn't make any money for the full first year because he was the normies, the mainstream that we're waiting for in about 3 to 6 months from now, that they don't have no idea what they're doing and they literally buy crypto at the highest price. That's not you, because you're here watching this video before we're in the peak euphoria. And he says, if he can do it, you can too. If nobody believes you, he does. And guys, this guy's now printing $500,000, $500,000 on a day. I've seen receipts here where he's printed over $1 million a day. And this photo sort of sums it up. He's come a long way. This is 2025, I believe, or late 2024 at the most. From 2017, in 7 years, he went from literally $2,500 and broke and homeless to sitting next to the Goldman Sachs CEO and I believe his wife at the Knicks game at the playoffs with a $500,000 watch, $200,000 courtside seat, sitting next to one of the wealthiest men in the world. And he's done this because he can call cryptos extremely early. We track on this channel some of the best traders in the world, like Becker, Cryptogodjohn, Elliot Wyman, and a handful of others, and we see who is getting the best returns. And Cryptogodjohn, you can see in this column right here, the source column, has hit like 7 out of the top 8 calls, including Chainlink at a 360x, which would turn 50 grand into $18 million. So in this video, I want to break down his exact strategy and which tokens that he's currently holding and think will go absolutely nuclear in this cycle. And we're going to have more fun today than we had yesterday. We did Alex Becker yesterday. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. But we're going to be talking about which niches he thinks are going to be profitable and then the coins and the niches that he is personally betting on. And he thinks that this is a massive opportunity in 2025 to do insane numbers, like on a level that he even has never done before. And even here, you can see he's starting to get into his strategy. He says, only in crypto can you see someone turn $19, literally $19, guys. It's not a typo. It's not 1900, it's $19 into $80,000 in 2 months. Life-changing opportunities are everywhere in this market. But what you need, and honestly, I've been studying Cryptogodjohn for a couple of years now, the one thing that he really taught me with this Chainlink play is patience. And luckily, we're at the part of the cycle where we need less and less patience because things are getting euphoric. I'm going to explain that in just a second. But at least over the couple of years leading up to this, I was pretty antsy trying to flip tokens for 2x profit in about a week. And John's like, sometimes you need to hold a coin negative 50% before it does a 20x. You put 10 grand in, it's going to go down to 5K. Don't panic. Wait till it turns around and becomes 200K. It's the power of patience. And this is Chainlink, which is Cryptogodjohn's #1 play of all time. 360x return, which is absurd. And if you go back to that 2021 bull run before it took off, I mean, right here's the peak. It peaked out at $50. But Cryptogodjohn got in at less than $1. And if we zoom in on that chart here, you can see the craziness. If Cryptogodjohn bought in here at, like, say, 20 cents, he wrote it up to $1.20, a nice 6x, and then had to write it all the way back down past 20 cents where he bought in again. And then he wrote it all the way up to $3, and he wrote it all the way down, another 50% drop. These are massive drops at the time. And I mean, zooming out, it's like, well, okay, that's very profitable, but people don't realize that you have to write it up to $16 and then all the way back down to $8. You're going to have multiple, as Cryptogodjohn says, 50% dips before you see your massive upside. You need to shake out the paper hands. And even this cycle, Cryptogodjohn is surprised with how slow altcoins are to take off. He says Bitcoin chilling at 100K and altcoins are getting obliterated. This is not what I imagine the altcoin market to look like when Bitcoin trades above 100K because we're only just now descending into altcoin season a little bit later than expected. But one thing's for sure, Cryptogodjohn does not believe in the dinosaur cults of the last cycle. ADA, XRP, DOT. He says he prays for the people who are literally holding the bags from the last cycle. And instead, I'm going to show you the bags for this cycle, get into the new narratives and the new cooks, as John says. In fact, he's currently rotating all of his underperforming coins into the ones that he thinks are going to take off the most. He says the 2 biggest mistakes that he made in the last bull market, he held on to underperforming coins thinking they would soon outperform the market. and then he sold top performing coins too fast and rotated into the laggards, trying to outrun the market from the higher market cap altcoins down to the micro cap ones. This time I'm selling underperforming coins and doubling down on top assets. So I'm going to bring you the top assets in this video. And John is a big believer in the path to alt season that we talk about all the time on this channel, where basically you start in the Bitcoin phase, then you trickle down to Ethereum's large caps, then alt season. He believes that when this tweet was last year, I just want to show you that he's a believer in the thesis. We are way closer to the Ethereum large cap phase now. And that is shown by the altcoin season index absolutely skyrocketing from, what was that, 11 all the way up to 45 where it currently sits, but it did peak out at 60 here. And of course, Bitcoin dominance. As Bitcoin dominance, you could see at the end of last year, absolutely dropped off a cliff as we had a massive little, I say massive, but compared to a real altcoin season, it's not. We made a lot of money in December, but we are just now sliding down that Bitcoin dominance curve, and it's expected, once again, I show you this almost every single video, but it's important to know, now we're back in 2017 where Cryptogodjohn bought the top down here. Bitcoin dominance was at about 44% before it turned around. Again, in 2021, where Cryptogodjohn made millions of dollars on Chainlink, it bottomed out at about 42 to 44% before it turned around. Right now, we're sitting at 60%. It's expected to repeat these cycles, dropping down to 43% and allowing these altcoins to absolutely flourish. And John thinks the biggest gains of the cycle, the tokens that are going to flourish the most, or the categories that are going to flourish the most, are AI, gaming, real-world assets, and memes. He says there is life-changing money there, and I believe him for someone who went from homeless to courtside at the Knicks playoff game. So let's start with AI. I'm going to go down and show you one token that Cryptogodjohn believes in each of these categories. So AI might even be his strongest thesis. He says in 2024 to 2030, it'll be known as the AI super cycle. And in fact, there's another tweet way back from 2023. He says, millionaires will be printed from investing in gaming and AI in crypto, which it's already become true. But this token specifically is a Cryptogodjohn token, as well as an Becker token, as well as a partner of this channel that is bridging the Venn diagram, in the middle of that Venn diagram between gaming and AI. And that is Neural. Cryptogodjohn says Neural insanity. And Becker literally replied, he said, it cured cancer. Obviously joking. Obviously, it didn't actually cure cancer, but it did pretty crazy things back in that mini altcoin season run of late 2024. In fact, on one of Becker's Good Morning 3 a.m. posts, someone says, can you shill some AI tokens again, please? Becker wrote one word, Neural. And Cryptogodjohn says, a lot of AI coins are retracing into support after going parabolic off the lows. My biggest bets for 2025. And this is how almost all AI coins went in December. And we had that mini altcoin. Things went absolutely crazy, and then we had some massive pullbacks. He thinks they retraced into support and are ready to go again. And you can see on his list of literally his biggest bets for 2025. He's got OXO at the top, but his narrative and thesis around OXO is starting to change, if not has already changed. And Neural is literally in that number 4 position. And Neural are actually a pretty incredible looking project. They say you can generate epic 3D worlds and assets, no design skills needed, fueled by the Neural token. There's actually utility, again, surprise, surprise, how fun it is to actually have utility in crypto when you're using the Neural token. Now, one of the coolest features of Neural is the World Engine. It's an AI native real-time collaborative platform that enables the next generation of creatives create original, interactive, high-fidelity virtual worlds and games in days rather than months. It's literally an AI machine that's going to help you render these environments and worlds that can go into your game in a matter of days, saving developers, and even if you're not a developer, it's going to empower you to make these tools in way less time than it would normally take. And of course, you can use their AI toolkit in order to make all your 3D assets for your game, whether you're a developer or just want to make your own game using their tools. They've recently, I believe this month, also just bridged over, wormholed over to the Solana ecosystem, which means you can buy Neural on Solana with a 0% tax. And that's great news for us because we use the Archie wallet, which is this guy right here behind me. And you can literally buy any token by copying their contract address, pulling up your Archie bot and pasting it in from any place on the bot. It's going to make sure you get the right token like Neural, and you can literally buy in one click of a button. We're about to put one Solana into Neural. Archie's going to go out there and do it for you, and then it'll be in your Archie portfolio. The link to Archie, if you need it, is in the description below. They're also a team that continues to deliver products. They are launching the first ever launchpad for AI worlds, one-click deployment and tokenization. And this paragraph right here really summarizes the power of Neural. It says, imagine you can prompt a playable game world into existence and then tap deploy to have your friends and community drop in almost immediately. All this while the value of Neural grows in line with the number of deployed AI worlds. This is what we're already building with Neural AI's upcoming World Engine and our AI Worlds Launchpad. They are trying to heavily slash the number of steps from ideation of a person to going live and monetizing their game world. Right now, as you can see, Neural has had that nice price pullback into support, as John says, to $3.24. It is fully diluted and have some pretty strong KOLs on board. Now, the other niche in John's tweet was gaming. He says, millionaires will be printed from investing in gaming. And in fact, there's this tweet which went really viral for John, 1.8 million views on Twitter. And he says, my aunt had $20,000 and asked me to build her a crypto portfolio. My challenge is to publicly run this to $100,000 and maybe even $1 million over the next 12 to 18 months. Current holdings, and you can see at $18,000 in there. A lot of these tokens did experience a big pullback as the market and the macro economy pulled back. But the one gaming token he has in there was Karrat. And if he's setting his aunt up, and you know what coins are good enough for John's family, I believe he actually strongly believes in these tokens. And he even talks about Karrat here. It says it's his favorite gaming coin. But if you thought AI had a strong pullback, some of the gaming had an even bigger pullback, despite Karrat, which we've featured on the channel quite a few times, have backing from Amazon, Nvidia, Epic, the team from Disney, Pixar, and Riot. He says, maybe I'm biased because I'm becoming an actual character in the game, but this is a sleeping monster. Obviously, this is a paid partnership from John, as most of his tokens are. But he says, I think Karrat will be one of those plays many people wish they accumulated at 50 cents before gaming heats up. And right now, guys, crazy enough, I mean, this could be a testament to buying Karrat, or it could be a testament away. And this could be like, okay, John missed on this one. But Karrat's not even close to 50 cents anymore. It's at 5 cents. And it's only at a $18 million market cap because there was a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, about the fully diluted ratio to the circulating supply, which a lot of it has now leaked into the supply. As you can see on this massive pullback, it has diluted the tokens. But a lot of that dilution is gone, and Karrat do have a really strong looking game. You can see it's actually shown some life if we zoom on that graph. It did double over the last month, and then it's found some support at about 5.1 cents, which takes us onto real world asset tokens. Cryptogodjohn is a huge fan of a token called PIN, and he says, I nearly aped $200,000, him putting in his own money. So not just a partnership deal, but actually buying more of this token as Chainlink pulled back. And he says, over the last few days at these prices, I nearly aped 200K. After a monster run, this run was absolutely crazy. Even I made a decent amount of money on this one. This is Becker got in, Crypto Zach LA was really early, Cryptogodjohn was in. This one was one of the best performing tokens of that December run. And John thinks it's finally set up for its next leg up. It's one of my favorite AI RWA plays. And of course, Alex Becker is also a fan, replying to their tweet of Chainlink here. He says, pin go up. And if you're in our inner circle, you'll also see the exact amount that Alex Becker holds of Chainlink, and it's a very considerable amount. In fact, on John's same tweet where he talks about his biggest bets for 2025, guess what is sitting there in the number 2 spot behind OXO, which remember guys, OXO, his narrative has really strongly changed on that recently. We can do an update video on that, but you can go look at his Twitter and get the update yourself. But PIN is right there in that second spot. And you can see PIN has also had that same shape graph as a lot of the AI tokens have. A massive, crazy run up, pullback, finding support at about 70 cents, which is a $71 million fully diluted market cap. Which takes us to my favorite category. Funny enough, I like this more than AI and more than real world assets, and I am mostly exposed to memes, and I've got other videos on why, but Cryptogodjohn has also come round to the meme coin fun. He says meme coin and AI supercycle, meaning he's a strong believer in that meme coin supercycle, which is a thesis of Marad's. In fact, in March, he says meme coins ruined the altcoin market. Now, I actually think John was actually being a little bit annoyed at meme coins ruining the altcoin market because he was heavily into the altcoins. And then someone like Marad comes along and is like, all coins are meme coins. Some of them just pretend they have a strong utility, or they have a utility. But if there's a utility coin that makes 100 grand a month and the token's valued at $1 billion, the token price is going to crash if it's linked to its utility, unless it's making ungodly amounts of money. And so the thesis is that meme coins ruin it because there is no ceiling for a meme coin. There's nothing to fundamentally value it upon, and therefore they can run into the billions way easier. And even though John was talking about like that, that's annoying, I think this was the start of him starting to come around to a meme coin super cycle. And which memes is John looking at? Well, you can see memes are actually taking quite the hit today. Down, none of them quite down double digits. Filecoin is down double digits here at 17% today, which is a strong hit. But you can see the couple that are standing strong in here are Pudgy Penguins down 3% and SBX 6900 down 5%. The other newer meme is Fuckcoin and Trumpcoin, because basically the old guard are up. These are the two original memes from 2021. Then you have the 2023 sort of memes in here, Pepe and Bonk. And now you have the new cycle memes of Pudgy, SBX, Trump, and Farcoin coming for those top spots. And John is a fan of two of those tokens. The first one, I mean, you can just look at his display picture. It is the Pudgy Penguins. And he says, Pengu looks like it's going to cook hard in July. Now, this is July 1st. If we come across the Pengu chart, John, once again, was extremely right. Going back a month to July 1, this is down here at about 13 cents. It had one of the biggest run-ups all the way to, sorry, not 13 cents, 1.3 cents, a big run-up all the way to 4.4 cents, which is an awesome call for John. This one's really been probably the highest performing token over the last 30 days. The other token that John is also a big fan of, that is probably the second best performing token over the last 30 days, is SBX 6900. He says, Karrat is a king, SBX making new all-time highs. And in fact, he is longing this over the short term. He took it from $1.82 to $2.13 at a 400% profit, because he says there is no chart, which is the culture around the SBX 6900. But Karrat's coin looks like it wants to go to infinity, which, I mean, the mimetic ceiling here is literally trillions. If you don't know about the SBX 6900, I've got many videos on this channel you can go and watch. Now, John is still on the lookout for the next big cook, because just like you saw the phases of the altcoin season, the further we get into altcoin season, from Bitcoin down to Ethereum to the large caps to the micro caps. The tweet I showed you yesterday was from 2021 when Becker said he held no tokens that had more than $100 million market cap, because the euphoria is there, so everyone can go down the risk curve because everything is making 10 to 20 X's. And John doesn't want just the massive billion-dollar tokens. He's also looking for the next big token that's going to run up from a 10 mil market cap to the $10 billion level. He says, what's everyone looking at right now? What upcoming narratives do you think are going to hit that nobody's talking about? Shill me, I'm looking to research new plays. And how I personally get into these new plays before everybody else is I reverse engineer the blockchain to find Cryptogodjohn's wallets, portfolios, and even track his social media accounts and replies on Twitter, because John will drop hints and he will buy into tokens himself before he talks about them publicly. This is how we found OXO. John got into OXO at about 2 cents. Again, this is the one that was his #1 pick that the narrative sort of changed on. I followed John at about 6 cents, at about this little spike here, way back because of our inner circle investigating this token. Alex Becker didn't get into this token until about 20 cents. And so if you want that sort of X-ray vision on the best traders in the world, the ones who have turned thousands of dollars into millions, come and have a look at our inner circle. We have a tool called the Whale Tracker, where we literally track the deployment wallets of new upcoming launches to see which KOLs are partnering with them and which KOLs owe them promotion, so we can trade them before everybody in the mainstream find out about it. If beating everybody else to new tokens and new cooks, especially someone like Cryptogodjohn, who has called some crazy 100x returns, is interesting to you, click the link in the description below and come and join us in the inner circle. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.